Hey there, Jed Coburnus here from JedCoburnus.com, and welcome to Talk Therapy. This is just a tool. I might be a tool, but it's just a tool that I use to get to know myself, get to know my analytical mind, and get past it. Go straight to the center, straight to my source of energy. And if that makes sense to you, awesome. If it doesn't, sounds a little crazy, then you might want to keep listening. So speaking of keeping listening, right, and like being somebody, I just had this thought this morning. I don't ever premeditate any of these. I don't think about what I'm going to talk about. I just hit record. I would recommend everybody do this. Just hit record. You don't have to share it out to the world like I do, but just hit record, man. Like, it helps your inner being so much to just empty the full glass of water. Because if you keep pouring keep pouring water with a full glass of water, what's gonna happen? It overflows. So you gotta empty that glass. But anyway, so being somebody, right? What does that mean? A lot of people out there might look at me and might look at what I do every day as weird. I sit here and I record myself talking to myself. But it's more than that. It's more than that. Because the crazy part about all of this internet stuff is, when can you, let's say your video hits 500 views. Have you ever talked in front of 500 people before? My guess is no, but like, that's what this does. It simulates you being in front of 500 people. Think about that. If you spoke in front of 500 people, do you think you'd quote unquote be somebody? My guess is yes, right? If 500 people showed up to listen to your yapper just completely talk, then yeah, right? Your yapper's just firing off and you're talking and going nuts. Excuse me, I had to take a drink of coffee. Gotta love coffee, right? But, you know, you have people show up. And that's all it takes. People just showing up and listening and engaging. And I think we are afraid of our own shadow sometimes. Like, we get afraid of our, oh no, don't post that or don't say that. It's like, if it's truly you, who cares, right? If you're truly being yourself, then who cares? This is just me. Like, I think people sometimes, they put themselves out there in a way, and that was my analytical mind right there, just saying, don't say the wrong thing, don't say the wrong thing. But they put themselves out there in such a way that they want to be perfect. Well, let me tell you, I'm not perfect. You want to know why? I just went to Holiday and got 2 croissant sandwich, sausage, egg, and cheese. What do you want to call them? Sandwiches, breakfast sandwich. 2, right? Not just 1, but 2. And I grabbed some coffee. And then I grabbed this sugar-free Monster energy drink, right? Like, every now and again, that's not really crazy bad for you. You're interrupting your body's systems, going, whoa, what are you doing? And it's like, well, throwing something different, because complacency and like, homeostasis is good, right? Don't get me wrong, balance is great. But offset that balance every now and again. That's the cool part of life. But I also think that being somebody starts within. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you're right so much. You have to speak it every day. I mean, I'm not talking like a year from now. I'm talking like 10 years from now. 10 years from now, then you got it figured out. Hell, even 20 years from now. The crazy part about all of that is today, on this day, July 27th, somebody wants me to be on their show, right? Speaking of views, speaking of posting something on the internet and getting some really crazy awesome attention, the Fibropreneurs, right? They're getting some crazy awesome attention because they're legit, they're true. Like, they're true to themselves. They stay in their lane, they don't bullshit anybody else. They say, hey, I have fibromyalgia, and here's why I feel good, and here's why I feel not good. This is just my experience. They're documenting their real life experience. And that's what it's all about. Like, I think that's why my WODs are just so simple. And they work, right? Like, something special to them, but it's my life's work. Like, I've been doing these, and I just show modifications along the way. But these Fibropreneurs, man, like Christy and Amanda, they're rocking. And I think per video they clear at least 1,000 views. When's the last time you had 1,000 people in a room, in one room? Right? It's nuts. And that's the view. Like, that's being, quote unquote, being somebody in this day and age. Just throwing it out there. Putting people in rooms. That's what the internet is simulating. Like, wrap your head around that. Think about all those videos out there who get millions of views. That's a big stadium, right? That is a big stadium. But that's what it takes. So being somebody, right? Where do you fit in being somebody? What's really funny is people don't want to know my story. My story, they think, is I'm just fit, right? Always been fit. No, man, like, I was an overweight child. I'm about to commit to 30 days of, like, pretty much pure torture. But self-inflicted, because I'm choosing to put that body vest on. Just really wrapping my head around what does that look like? What are the rules that I'm going to set up for myself? But, you know, okay, I just completely lost my train of thought of where I was going with that. That'll happen. That will happen with talk therapy, because it must not have been important enough. So I just take a drink of coffee, chalk it up to Friday morning. Let's go back to the Fibropreneurs, that Fitpreneurs, that was pretty cool. But Fibropreneurs, let's talk about them, because I'm going to be on their show today, and I'm all sorts of jacked up. Like, I get to think about, like, what talk shows are about. They're so popular because, one, you got the personality of the host, right? And I think that's what people show up for. But the hosts, they have a pretty easy piece of the puzzle. All they got to do is ask questions to whoever they're hosting, right? To whoever the guests are. So I'm a guest on the Fibropreneur show today, and they're just gonna let me talk. And boy, can I talk, right? Like, hello. Talk therapy. But talking with purpose, and that's what I think this is. I talk with purpose just to inspire somebody. If somebody's gonna change their life just a little bit, perfect. You know, I'm pretty philosophical here, sometimes scientific, but more philosophical. But I also think that telling a person's story is massively important. Your narrative. What are you telling yourself every single day? What are you saying to yourself every day? That's the important piece, right? Because your narrative is more important than the life even that you live. And if you understand that, awesome. Let that sink in a little bit. Your narrative is where it begins. What story are you telling yourself every day? And what I mean by that is, every day, are you the person to say, of course, this would always happen to me. This is just what happens to me. Great. Or are you the person that says, this is what always happens to me. This is great. Right? Big difference in narratives there. That's short. Right now, long would be, I started out as an overweight child. My parents made me get a job. I actually lost a lot of weight because of that. Got pretty smart. And, I mean, not a lot of weight. I went from, around 230 pounds to about 150. So, what is that? 60 pounds? 60 pounds. And that's my experiment. So I hop from my story to now to my experiment. My 30 days of wearing this 60-pound vest. Self-inflicted torture. But I have never been an overweight adult. So I would really like to know what it feels like without actually gaining all the weight. Like, I really don't want to gain the weight. So I'll simulate it. But I'm trying to figure out what rules, trying to ask myself, what rules do I set up? Do I wear it at night? What do I do? I don't know yet. Or do I just put it on and say the hell with it and be like, okay, I'm gonna make up my own rules because nobody else is doing this. That could be it too. I think I'm overthinking it, but I don't know yet. Maybe I can get some sponsors to sponsor the video and have a camera crew come up here and document the whole process. Wouldn't be able to pay them, wouldn't be able to feed them or house them, so you'd have to find that. But who knows? That'd be sweet though. If anybody listening, if you want to document, even if just a few hours a day, that would work. Let me know. YGT@jedcoburnis.com. Email me. If you know anybody with a camera who just likes to record stuff for people or wants to do a documentary on, what it feels like to be an overweight adult when you're completely not used to it, and that can just flip somebody's mindset. Because empathy is a big thing for me. I want to know what stuff feels like before I prescribe something to them. Yeah. So that's, what's your narrative? What's your story? What are you telling yourself every day? Is it limiting you? Or is it basically setting yourself up for a massive overhaul within your life? What's the opposite of inhibit? On-hibit? Out-hibit? I don't know. But, yeah. Inhibit means, right, bring it down. What's the opposite of inhibit? I gotta look that up today. See, that's what I mean is, I don't BS, man. If I don't know something, I don't know it. I don't pretend to know shit. I don't, because that gets nobody anywhere. If I don't know, I'm gonna say I don't know. But I'm sure gonna look it up, and then I'll remember it past that. What's your narrative? Get out there. Figure out what you're telling yourself every day. Hopefully it's not limiting you in life. And as always, if you're willing to change from the neck up, you will change from the neck down. I believe in you. Now it's your turn to believe in yourself. Stay safe out there. Be blessed.